And last but not least on our agenda, I'm excited to have us have an opportunity to introduce Tim Ranzetta. Tim is with NextGen Personal Finance, and as I mentioned in the introduction, NextGen has been releasing lots of new resources and materials and information, and I thought it was a great opportunity to be able to bring Tim back and provide an update on what all is going on and then the new things from that organization. So, Tim, are you there?
I am here, Hillary.
All right, fantastic. Welcome. We have one of the things I love about these webinars. You know, we're out here in Pennsylvania. I gather from the weather there might even be folks in Western Pennsylvania right now that are getting snow. So love that everybody can do these from the comfort of their own location, and that we get to bring in speakers from across the country. Susan joined us earlier from Colorado. Tim, you're I gather out in your home state of California. So thank you for joining us, and I'm seeing your screen, so they are all yours.
All right. Thank you, Hillary. Yeah, I won't gloat here and tell you what our weather is here today, but actually we just heard from a teacher in Wisconsin. It sounds like it's snowing there, so it may be a big front coming through. Anyway, I love kind of doing webinars in December because it allows us to, as a team, reflect on where we've come over the last year. So what I'm going to focus on very quickly here, I think I've got 3 minutes per resource, is just what we've been working on at NextGen Personal Finance in 2017. So first of all, those of you not familiar with NextGen Personal Finance, the way to think about us is those of you who cobble together curriculum by doing or looking for videos or articles and go to Google, we say no more. So the idea for NextGen came about because I started a personal finance program at a high school serving first-gen students and cobbled together a curriculum through Google and thought to myself there must be a better way, and I decided to build that better way. And so really that's what NextGen Personal Finance is all about. Just very quickly, we love partnering with teachers on really 3 elements of what you're doing. The first is making we call it powering your prep, which is giving you resources from lessons to activities to smaller supplementary pieces of curriculum, make it easy for you to use. And I think what teachers love most about our curriculum is that it's customizable. So we do everything in Google Docs so that you are able to make a copy of it and adapt it based on the needs of your students. And the other thing we do is just align it to Jumpstart standards, and we're constantly updating. The advantage of having a digital curriculum, one that you can access online, is that when things change, like the FAFSA date or student loan rates, we can make those adjustments, and voila, it's changed. Second thing we love to hear from teachers is how our curriculum helps them crush it in the classroom. And so that'll be lessons that you love, as well as dynamic projects, topics, and interactives. And I'm actually going to show you several of our interactives. And those of you who are looking for Spanish language materials, about half of our activities are currently translated into Spanish, and that's growing. And then the last piece is we want to help you master your craft. And so we do professional development in a variety of ways, from face-to-face FinCamps, which I'll talk about, to asynchronous training, which would include webinars, a weekly podcast show that I do, as well as a library of materials that are available on our blog, which really is meant to keep you up to date. Oh, and it's free and always will be. So we have a similar model to those of you familiar with NEFI, in that we have an endowed model. So I was an entrepreneur who had a little bit of success, and so I've created an endowment to fund this organization. So everything we do, from all the materials you'll see on our website at www.ngpf.org to the training we do, is all provided free of charge, and it always will be. So what teachers tell us, you know, it varies from talking about how we do all the heavy lifting. So in other words, teacher prep time is kept to a minimum, and they can walk into a classroom and be ready to star. You know, in the left, I'll just let you read the comments rather than talk over them. So I think the bottom right, I was just out in Louisiana on Monday doing a FinCamp training that was organized by the Jumpstart State affiliate there. And we hear we've done 10 of these FinCamps now. We hear that consistently over and over again. We've taken a new approach to PD, and it's nice to see that it's resonating with teachers. So who's using us? The power of the internet is great. We've only been around for 3 years, and yet we have over 5,000 teachers in all 50 states using our materials. Looking at the state of Pennsylvania itself, we've had over 5,000 sessions since the school year started in September. Coming from, here's a map. The size of the bubble relates to the number of sessions at that location, and so I've listed the top 10 here also. So you may find, if you are a user of ours, you may find a circle of varying degrees in the geographic region. So you see we have pockets in the Philadelphia area, Lancaster County, I believe, in the southeast corner of the state, and then around Pittsburgh, but then we also have just pockets throughout the state, and that's really just the power of the internet. People find us in a variety of ways, from doing web searches to emails to having friends tell them about us. So here are the 6 or 7 things. Again, I'm going to have to go quickly here, but hopefully I'm just going to give you a taste of some resources, and then you can try them out on your own. And so the first is a game we developed called Payback, and we felt, let me go there. I thought I could just click on this. There we go. Okay, so we believe that one of the biggest issues that students are grappling with, your students are grappling with, is what are they going to do after high school? What does post-secondary education look like for them, whether it's community college, or hopefully a training program? And so what we've done with Payback is we worked with a design firm called McKinney out of North Carolina. They also produced a game called Spent that some of you may be familiar with. We contracted with them, and we said, we want you to create a game to help simulate or immerse students in this thing called college, and in particular,
Hey,
helping
Tim.
them grapple with, yes?
I apologize for interrupting, but for some reason it's not showing. We're still on the map slide. I think you want us to be over on the Payback tab.
Yeah, so does this switch it?
Oh, there we go. Yep, we're
Okay.
good. All right, sorry for interrupting you. Yep.
No, thanks for the heads up. Okay, so this is the game Payback. This is the best way to describe it is it's going to help kids or students learn to navigate the money issues to and through college. I'm just going to take you, so it's basically, the website is timeforpayback.com, and we are big believers in not having the students just play games, but also reflect upon it. So I just clicked on the upper right-hand corner, the I button, and you see that we have a companion worksheet that goes with this. Because the way I would describe Payback is it's a 15-minute game, and I encourage students to play twice at a minimum, because they're going to learn. About 30% of the kids won't graduate, and we think that's an important lesson for kids to learn as they play the game about the decisions they made to help keep them in school. But by filling out this chart and answering these reflection questions, you're going to have a phenomenal conversation afterwards. And we hear from teachers that kids are staying through their lunch hour. Students are going home and talking to their parents about this. We've had over 100,000 plays, 100,000 students play the game in just 2 months since it was featured in the New York Times. So here's just a quick gameplay. The game starts by having students select a GPA, their extracurricular activities, and what their home state is, and then they apply for schools. And then they immediately get 4 choices: in-state public, out-of-state public, private school, community college. In this case, I'll take an in-state public. And you see we try and make these thematic. So obviously Philadelphia being the home of the Liberty Bell, the mascot for the state is "You are a bell." You'll see on the bottom these 3, basically 3 meters. And you'll see these meters change as the students make decisions. So it's focus, connections, and happiness, and then there's a student debt meter. So the game starts. I'm just going to give you a quick flavor of the game. Your high school graduation was awesome. You got $750 in cash. What will you do with the money? Let's treat yourself. And then every time they make a decision, they're going to get a message. So the best way to reduce your student loan debt is to save as much as you can before you start college. Okay, so let's keep playing the game. When you get to college, you have to eat. Or are you just going to take the standard meal plan, in which case there's no incremental cost because you're already covering that in room and board. You can eat like a bird. You're going to be extra hungry. So let's watch what happens when I click extra hungry. You see my focus and happiness go up, as well as my student debt. And so again, students are having to understand this concept. They're having to live this concept of opportunity cost, and understanding that, okay, so a decision here around freshman year, it's time to sign up for a dorm room. Do you want a single? Do you want a quad? Or do you want to have a roommate? And you'll see there's some snarky comments when students make decisions. In this case, I wanted to have a roommate, and your roommate may be great or they may be horrible. Either way, you'll remember them forever. So anyway, that just gives you a flavor of the gameplay, which again takes about 15 minutes. It's a great way to either kick off your paying for college unit, or just, if you're not teaching paying for college, just a way for your seniors on their way out the door to understand what college is going to look like and all the decisions they're going to make along the way. So that's Payback. I'm going to click on our interactive library next, and let me see if hopefully you're able to see that now. So obviously we believe, as many of, perhaps all of you do, students learn by doing. And so what we've done here is create an interactive library of 40 simulations, games, or what we call interactives, and each one of them we've created an activity around. So we don't just send you to a website, but we've also given you some ideas on how to structure an activity around it. So let's just take one of my favorites is a website called FinViz. And for those of you who teach investing, we know this concept of index investing, what's an index fund, can be particularly challenging to teach. And so we've created this activity called Analyzing Stock Prices and Industries in the S&P 500. So again, I should probably go back a step here just to show you where you can access our interactive library. So if you go under our curriculum tab on our website, www.ngpf.org, it's towards the bottom here, this interactive library, and you'll see there's 40 items on the list, and you can sort by topic, and you're also going to get a description of it as well as who the publisher is. And so back to where I was before, analyzing stock prices and industries in the S&P 500. This is one of my favorite charts to help bring index funds to life for students, and I hope you're able to see this now. So basically, what you're looking at here is the S&P 500, and this is the one-day performance. So how did the stock market perform today by industry, by individual company? The size of the box relates to the market capitalization of each of these companies. And so we've created, again, you can spend a lot of time looking at, if you're a math teacher, this is just percentages galore. The neat thing about it is we're looking at a one-day chart here. So obviously financials didn't do particularly well. I think the Fed raised interest rates today, which was probably an expected move, but they're not performing well. So you see kind of how stocks move as, as industry groups in many cases, but obviously sometimes there's just individual company issues too. But you can actually change the performance. This is again at finviz.com. You can change the performance to be, say, on an annual basis. And so now you get a very different picture. Obviously, if you ask students how they think the stock market performed over the last year, there's a heck of a lot of green on the chart. But this is all 500 companies, and again, we've scaffolded an activity around that, asking students a series of questions to really help them understand it, a great interactive, a great graphic to help them understand what exactly an index is. So that's our interactive library. That's just one interactive there, and I think again, I think the FICO score simulator is another great one. Those of you who are teaching credit scores, I would just point that one out too. In this activity, students have profiles on 3 students. I just did this actually at our training, and teachers love this because hard to really make FICO credit scores exciting or interesting. So we have 3 near-peer examples. These are college students. They have profiles. Students indicate whether or not they think each of these attributes or habits is a positive or a negative. There's some questions here, and so the way I create a little suspense here is I ask the students to predict, you see the question 1, what is their estimated credit score? And then the great thing about this is each of the students, and then I'll go to the board and I'll jot down everybody's prediction. Everybody has to give me an estimated score for Sam, and then here's Jessica, which is a second profile, and then Danielle. And then we collect those, go to a website, many of you may be familiar with it, which is the FICO Credit Score Estimator, and then you go through a series of questions, and each of these questions aligns with this column here. So it's very easy for students to follow that. Okay, question number 1, how many credit cards do you have? They have 3, so that would be 2 to 4, and you kind of go from there. And so at the end of answering these 10 questions, I do the drum roll, please. The model spits out a number, and students get to see how their prediction worked. And then more importantly, you can go back and talk about why they got a certain score. So that's the interactive library. Questions of the day is something we've increased, really the volume of choices you have when it comes to question of the day. So these are meant to be bell ringers to get your class off to a great start. And so let's take a look at questions of the day for investing. And so you'll see a whole range of questions, and then each of these is viewed in a Google Doc. And so let's just take, okay, what percent of 14 to 21-year-olds are already saving for retirement? So what we've done is not only given you a question, but we've actually given you a 3-slide deck to answer that question. So you could throw this up on the board, throw this up on the projector. Students make their predictions about what percent of 14 to 21-year-olds are already saving for retirement, and boom, here's the answer. Here's the source with we'll typically extract an excerpt from whatever research we're using to come up with that answer, and then we have a link if you want more information on that topic, and then if you're looking for additional follow-up questions, here they are. So again, if you were going to do a lesson about retirement, that can often seem like so far off to young people, but now we actually have a question about them, Gen Z, or I think I've seen them referred to as iGen also, where now they actually feel like they have, they're bought into the question because we're talking about their peers, and they might be surprised to hear that such a high percentage of students, because I was certainly surprised by that number, that 12% are already saving for retirement, so maybe it forces them to do a bit of a double take to do that. So the other thing I would tell you, so basically each one of our units has, I think, roughly 10 to 15 of those questions of the day. And then we heard from teachers who said, you know what I'd really love is I'd love a question of the day every day in my email box. And so we have a blog, and we are currently doing a question of the day every day. And if you want to subscribe to that, you would go to our blog page, which is under Community. For those of you who are following along on your computer, you'd go to Community Blog, and then you would just type in your email address here, and every morning you'd get 2 blog posts. So we basically do a question of the day, and then we do another either current event or something that we think a classroom teacher would be interested in. And so, for example, if you subscribe today, tomorrow morning you would get this question: what's the average lifespan of a toy fad? Trying to take advantage of the holiday season, something students might be interested in. And the answer here, for those of you who really want to know, you'll see kind of how the structure works. We give you an answer, we give you some additional details, some questions, but then we also give you, again, that template of the 3-slide deck for questions of the day. So teachers have told us they really love this because they often spend a lot of time having to come up with these on their own. So that's question of the day. You can either go to our website and just pull those off under, again, where that was is under curriculum, question of the day. That will get you to the units, or if you want one delivered every day, just go to our blog under community and then put your email address in. Okay, I got to move along here because I'm running out of time. So I'm going to quickly go through a couple additional things we did. We've redesigned our website, and so those of you who are new to NGPF and are kind of like have a unit or have a topic that you're interested in finding resources on and don't want to jump around our website, we have what's called our units page. So the way to access that is under curriculum, you go to units, okay? And this is what you're going to see, 12 boxes. And then what we've done for the units page is we've put all of our resources on one page. So let's say you're doing budgeting. For example, here you'll see, so this is our budgeting units page. On the left-hand side, we have lessons, which I won't go into. You can kind of explore that on your own. We have so all of our, that's our unit plan. Here's lesson 1, budgeting basics, quick description of what's in it, and then if you want to view the Google Doc or if you want to view assessments. In order to view assessments, you'll need to have a teacher account, which I'll discuss before I leave you this afternoon. So that is our unit page. On the left-hand side, lessons. On the right-hand side are more discrete resources. So if you want activities, here are all the activities we have under budgeting. If you want projects, here are our projects. So clearly no shortage there. Data crunches, which are kind of a way to bring in math, have students analyze graphs. That's the data crunch, questions of the day, fine print, and case studies. So this is like teachers love, they told us this is what they wanted, so we built it, but kind of a very quick and easy place for you to go to get a purview of what we have on given units. That's the website redesign. Semester course. So this answers the question for teachers who are now in December. Maybe you've just been tapped to teach a course in the spring and you're looking around saying, I don't have the time nor the inclination to piece everything together, and you're looking for a full semester course. We've created, so it's basically 90 45-minute class periods, and this is the course map. So again, how I access this is curriculum. First item on the list is semester course, and I'll just click on one lesson just to give you a sense of what you're going to find in our standard lesson. Think of it as a playlist. So we start with careers, and rather than talk about careers in the future for students, we're focused on how do you get your first job. So here is our lesson guide. Teachers, again, love the fact every one of our lessons has a template that looks just like this. So learning objectives, each of our lessons are set for 45 minutes, and then how we align to Jumpstart standards. And then each of our resources are numbered, and we have the links there, which will take you to the actual document itself. So we are looking at the lesson guide here. Student activity packet. Each one of our lessons has a student activity packet you can print out or you can share with your students. If you're Google Classroom, it's pretty seamless. You just take the document and share it with them. And we kick off each lesson with a discussion prompt, and then there's a series of videos, reference materials, articles, and activities. And so there's a real diverse set of resources we have on our playlist, and then we conclude each lesson with an exit ticket. Again, this is the teacher-facing lesson guide. We have student activity packet, and this usually is for teachers who are leading from the front, because this also can work for students to self-pace. This is the document that teachers are usually referring to. So I think I've got about 1 more minute here, and again, I apologize for going so quickly here. The last 2 things that we've developed this year, one was a PD opportunity we're calling FinCamp, and so we go out to visit districts. We go out and visit any teacher who's interested in hosting an NGPF FinCamp. What that means is we ask you to help us find 30 teachers in your area, and your area can be defined as a city, as a district, whatever that would be, and then we organize the day for you. We come out and do the actual training itself. I'm going to show you about 30 seconds of a video of what FinCamp looks like.
That's why we created these.
So here we go. We're just going to watch about 30 seconds.
Feels really important for teaching personal finance. That's why we created these one-day workshops, which we're calling FinCamp.
I like that they came prepared to help us experience it rather than just listen.
We're having great interactions at the table, and even in the conversations with the entire room, everybody's sharing out, and the whole process is working. Hope it would happen in your own classroom.
I feel like I could take this content here, like today on Friday, and I could actually implement it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
We have over almost 200 projects and activities that teachers can pull from.
I think as teachers, we are really busy and we're looking for great material. And the fact that it's all in one place is really helpful.
No, I haven't seen anything like this.
There were aha moments galore with people just saying, this is unbelievable. This is amazing. I wish I had this when I started my class 10 years ago.
Just looking through the resources today with the time that we've had, I'm able to think off the top of my head of 4 or 5 units that I'm going to cover even this year in the short amount of time we have left.
I think it reduces the intimidation factor.
All right, so I just wanted to share with you kind of the flavor for that. So if that is something you are interested, or you think your district or even a larger service area would be interested in, we'd love to talk. So we've done 10 of those, and we ask the question at every one that we do, would you recommend, because there's a thing called a Net Promoter Score, which basically we ask the question, would you recommend this training to a colleague? And we ask on a 1 to 10 scale, and I think over the average over the 10 that we've done has been about a 9.93, which tells us that we've found really the right way to do PD. And we did 10 this year. In 2017, we're going to double our efforts and do 20 in 2018. So if there's an appetite for that in your community, again, we're happy to do all the legwork. All we're asking is helping us pool together 30 teachers. 30 is kind of our magic number because we think there's a certain level of engagement which comes with smaller, what I call small batch PD. So if you're interested in the materials that we have, basically, I would urge you to sign up for a teacher account. And the primary reason is we lock our assessments behind a password, behind a username and password, because obviously we don't want students to get access to it. And then we also have answer keys for all of the materials that we provide. And so and basically as we add materials, we add answer keys to that also. And so the simplest way to sign up for a teacher account is you would just go to our home page. Well, you can go to any page on our website, and you'll see in the upper right-hand corner this item, create a free account. We collect information from you. We verify that you are a teacher, and so the way to get yourself verified as soon as possible would be to just provide a link to your school directory where you're listed, because that makes it easy. And the reason we go through these lengths to verify teachers, obviously, is that we don't want answer keys floating around, and at this point, several thousand, I think we're over 4,000, heading to 5,000 teacher accounts, and we have successfully verified all of the teachers and not fallen prey to students who can be pretty creative at doing that. So that's basically all I've got. I'm going to turn it over to Hillary to see if there's any questions that might have come in.
Thanks so much, Tim. Appreciate that. I know we gave you a limited amount of time, and I asked you to cover a lot. So thank you for taking us on that whirlwind tour of all the great, wonderful things that you guys have going on and that you're doing with NextGen. I haven't seen any questions coming in. Comment about great presentations, but thank you so much. Again, very much appreciate your willingness to come on, and certainly kudos to you and to your team for putting together just a fantastic set of resources, making them available free of charge to teachers. And I think one of the things that really is evident in what you guys are doing is you really value the educator feedback, and you guys respond so quickly. It's really great to see. So thank you.
Thank you.